Hello, my name is Alchemistic Goldmine, and today I want to talk about the hidden forces that run your life. The things that you don't even know exist that have control and have influence in your life. Things that you've never thought about before. You may know what they are, but you've never thought about them. Things that influence the subconscious mind. So, let's rock it. First thing I want to talk about is your tapes. You have something called, well, they used to call them tapes. And these are the things, the events that have happened in your life in the past. These are things that if people have told you, things your parents may have told you that stick in your head and told you, you couldn't be a dancer. You couldn't be an engineer. You couldn't be a doctor. You couldn't be this. You couldn't be that. You couldn't do this. You didn't have that. Your subconscious mind picks that up and it keeps it. Why do I say that? Because I read a book called Man and His Symbols by Carl Jung. And in that book, Carl Jung says your subconscious mind picks up everything that you experience. In the book, he said that you could have something going on in a corner of the room that your conscious mind was not even aware of, but your subconscious mind would pick it up. So imagine if somebody says something like that to you. The first thing is, like I said, your past condition, your tapes. What are your tapes? You should be aware of your tapes. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to pause this for a second, but here's the thing. People do all these affirmations. They do all this subliminal stuff. They work on themselves. They practice. They do this or that. But there's a hidden force that's running your life. Your subconscious mind does things that you're not even aware of. In fact, I'm moving my glasses. The fact I move my head a certain way or whatever. The fact I think a certain way. When you're on automatic, you think a certain way. Your thinking just follows a pattern automatically without you even thinking about it. You're not even, you just do something automatically. That's when the subconscious mind is in control. And if it will not purposely try to hurt you, it just does things it's familiar with. Even if the thing is to your detriment, even if it's going against your goal. Okay. If you have to go for a big presentation and somewhere when you were 6, your parents told you, oh, you're not good in front of people. You can't present in front of people. And you get in front of those people, guess what's going to happen? If you hit that, if you work with that, if that tape clicks in, then you're going to ditch the presentation. It's good to be aware of these things and what's going on. And you may have worked very hard on this thing. You may be doing the affirmations. You may be doing the meditations. You may be doing whatever you're doing, visualization, trying to develop yourself in this area. But you have that obstacle that was created and planted in your mind when you were younger. That's going to be one of the next things we're going to talk about is that. Children. So, your past condition in your tapes will sabotage you if you're not aware of them. The second thing is your family. Your family doesn't mean to do that, or they may mean to do it. But their thinking, their energy, the things that they tell you. When I got away from my family and wasn't with them on a regular basis, I suddenly became successful, more successful at what I was trying to do. Why? Because people emanate a frequency, and the frequency may be jamming what you're trying to do. Now, you can't blame other people for your successes and failures. However, people can influence you, and people can, their energy can influence your situation, especially if you're not aware of it, and especially if you don't know how to block that. Your friends, If your friends, how many times have we heard the story about the like a basketball player or somebody who goes away and they're super talented and they come back and they start hanging with their friends and they get shot and killed. That happened to a family member of mine. Brilliant. Went away to France, fashion designer. Was working with Calvin Klein, Givenchy, whoever. Came back, visiting, went and saw one of his old boys hanging on the corner. Somebody came around the corner. They were aiming for the boy, but they didn't get him. They got my cousin because he was his frequency. See? Your tapes, your frequency. What are you emanating? Who is around you? What is their thinking like? It influences your subconscious mind and it influences your frequency. So, family, who are your family? Who are your friends? What are they thinking? You can't really, Soul Immortal says you have to leave your town. He's absolutely correct. You have to leave where you are. You have to leave that behind. I mean, you may visit, but you can't stay there. You have to leave. If you want to get on another level of thinking, you have to get out of that frequency. And it's because it influences your subconscious and it also influences the frequency you're emanating. Your education and your teachers. Malcolm X's teacher told him, "You'll never be a lawyer. You'll never be a lawyer." Now, what is that planting in the child's subconscious mind? What kind of frequency is he going to emanate after that? See? You have to look and see who your teachers were. Who were the influences in your life that told you that you couldn't do something? And it could work the other way around also. They could tell, you're amazing and all this kind of thing. And it will make you soar to the stars. I'm thinking about Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah said one of the main reasons why she was successful is because her mother and the people around her believed in her. That's why she was successful. You have to be careful who you're around. You also have to look and dig in the tapes and see what was there. Because the subconscious mind doesn't know any difference between the negative and positive. It will just follow directions, and it's picking up from everywhere. Culture, and this is a big one. If you're a woman, they're telling you, "Oh, you can't do this and you can't do that," right? Don't listen to them. If you want to do it, do it. Your culture is telling you that all the time. Or women are weak and this and that and all that. Women are not weak. They're just a different type of strong. And I'll talk about that in the future also. I'll talk about that with the sexual energy in men and women and the difference between the strength of a man and the strength of a woman. That's been very confused. And color, ethnic group. Now this is a big one. They tell black people every day that we're inferior. On a subconscious level, every day they tell us that. "Oh, you're minority," which we're not. "Oh, you're weak," which we're not. And women aren't. I don't think women are minority either. "Oh, you're this and you're that, and black people are stupid, and you're this and that, and all this kind of thing." And we're not. We're just the opposite. So you have to be aware of that. They tell you all the time, in a subliminal kind of way. When you look on the news, who do you see on the news? That when something is robbed, they put a black face up on there, or a brown face up on there, or a poor white face up on there. They show you as being this, and you think you're that. But you're not that. We'll talk about that also. You're not this. You're something else. We may talk about that also. So, the color thing, the culture thing, Africa's inferior. Africa's not inferior. If you go there, I haven't been there yet, but what I'm hearing, the cities, they got cities like Lagos looks like New York. You know, you hear people live in huts and all this kind of thing. And the Trump comment that Trump made. You know, Trump has never been to Lagos, and he's never been anywhere other than where he's been. He hasn't been anywhere. He doesn't know anything. So that's why he can make that comment. You don't hear other people making that comment. You know, some of these people are very sophisticated. They've been everywhere, and don't believe everything the culture tells you. Culture is good, tradition is good, except when it hinders progress. Now, that's a quote. That's an AG quote. Culture is beautiful, tradition is beautiful, except when it hinders progress and growth of humanity. Culture is put into place so that people can grow, so that you can maintain some stability. But when it hinders your progress, and as long as the progress doesn't destroy, as long as it doesn't is not toxic, fine. But if it hinders progress, then you need to adjust the culture. Okay. If the progress destroys the tradition to the point where the tradition doesn't work anymore, then you need to make alterations to the progress. But there has to be a harmony between the progress and the culture. But culture can hold you back. You know, if your dad did it, I'm going to do it. No, you don't have to do that. You know, and these are underpinnings. These are things that are working in your mind and your energy that will keep you from succeeding. The next one, we're talking about TV. Next one is the media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have to include all that stuff now. Television, radio. You know, they feed into this culture thing big time. They tell you what you can't do, where you can't go, and they tell you by movies. And I was talking about the subconscious mind, right? And I was talking about how the subconscious mind is influenced by stories, right? It's influenced by stories. It's influenced by plays and poetry and music. Music is a big one. I think Soul did something on the music. I'm going to do something on that too, because that's my wheelhouse. But music, listen to what is the music playing? What is it saying? It influences you subconsciously. When you're listening to music and it's calling you the N-word, and it's talking about people getting shot and all this, this is influencing your subconscious mind. People are running your subconscious mind. They're planting things in your subconscious mind, which will come back and haunt you. Everything that you do, everything that you see is influence your subconscious mind. So there's a saying that you better program your mind or else somebody else is going to do it for you. They program your mind all the time. You're not even aware of it. You better program your mind or somebody else is going to do it for you. 11 o'clock news, big one. Prime time. The reason they call it prime time is because it's right before you go to sleep. And you'll spend all this time working on your affirmations, your meditation. You'll spend all this time reading the right books, Think and Grow Rich, and The Science of Getting Rich, and this and that, and blase, blase, blase. And you'll take all that and throw it in the trash. Why? Because you want to look at the 11 o'clock news before you go to sleep. Never God had told you, before you go to sleep, that's what your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind, let me tell you something. Your subconscious mind cannot read a book. That's for your conscious mind. That's what I was trying to tell you in the last video about the language of your subconscious mind. It does not read books. Your subconscious mind looks at pictures, it looks at colors, it looks at sounds, feelings, all that type of stuff. And what is the media that does that? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, television, radio, all of those things do all of those things, and that's how it influences your subconscious mind. This is a big one. So if you're doing your work on your subconscious, and you're working on your condition, and you're working on your life, and you're watching a lot of television, you're just basically building your house up and tearing it down again. I don't have a television. I'm not a fan of television. I might use it every once in a while to educate, but I'm not a fan of television because I know what television is trying to do. Why do you think why do you think they call it programming? Why do you think they call it programming? Because that's exactly what they're doing. So, advertisers have worked on a system, and they've done this with an MRI where they look and see what colors and sounds and what smells and frequencies light up certain parts of the brain, and he lights up certain emotions. So they've got it down to a science. They know what works certain emotions, what works certain feelings, what presses certain buttons, and they're using this in advertising. Yeah, it's part of the game. It's part of the game. I'm just trying to make you aware of it. You know, they're trying to succeed. They're playing the game. If you don't know about it, then you're getting sucker punched. You know, you should have big control of your mind. So these are all the things that influence you, and you're not even aware of it. What should you do? Well, number one, know what your buttons are. That's number one. Past conditions and tapes. Know the things that your family said to you. Go over those things and X them out. And be if you're in the moment, and not thinking in the past. So you know the subconscious mind is in control when you're thinking in the past or you're thinking too far in the future. Or I'm worried about something. Worry, I have a saying. This is another AG saying. Worry waters the weeds. You don't want to water the weeds. You want to water the flowers, and you want to water the plants with the fruit on them. You don't want weeds, unless they're giving you some herbs or something, you don't want a weed. You want fruit. So you don't water something that's not going to move you forward. You don't give something energy to something that's not going to help you prosper. You don't water the weeds. Worry waters the weeds. You don't want to do that. Okay? So you don't worry about the future, and you don't dwell on the past. You use the past to help you move forward into the future. But you stay in the present. If you're in the present, then you know your subconscious mind is not running your life. You work with the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is an ally only if you know how to use it. Okay. Then your education teachers, you go over all that stuff, and you go through different times in your life where you prove them wrong. You go over times where you're successful again, over and over and over again. Your culture, go and look at people who have beat it, who said, you know, like the guy who's the race car driver, the black guy driving the race car. He's driving in, I believe, NASCAR. People saw he couldn't do it. You know, look at Jackie Robinson. Look at Hank Aaron. Look at people like this. You trash that stuff. Throw it out the window. And the TV and the media, take that television set. Don't sleep with a television set. Don't have a television set in your bedroom. I refuse to have a television set in my bedroom. If you're going to have a television set, have it in a TV room. And turn that sucker off. Limit your television watching. Okay? So, I want to thank you for your attention in this video. And please remember to, if you like this, please subscribe. Please hit the notifications button. And please make comments. I'm new, and these things really do help me. I'm really working hard at this. And my objective is to make you successful at whatever you want to do and make you grow as a human being. Because the more of us can grow and the more of us can prosper on this planet, the better it will be for everyone. Okay? And with that said, don't slay your dragons, ride them.